Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Today is August 29, so we are days away from September, and we have major events that are going to happen in September that's going to have a direct impact on AMC stock. So potentially September can be the month where we really see the pop, but don't just quote me on that because this is just a speculation coming from my end. And I want to share with you at least four major events that I see coming up in September that's gonna logically, technically, and visually have a major impact on the price and potentially, getting to new all-time high. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. So as I mentioned multiple times on this issue, guys, this is about the UMR. So come September 1st, there's going to be an implementation of the phase 5 of this automatic UMR when it comes to over-the-counter derivatives. So there's going to be an upsurge in the volume of margin calls and an increase in the need of third-party custodians to safekeep collateral. I've already mentioned this multiple times. Pretty much it means from the digital executive itself that, hey guys, you are not ready because a lot of you guys are not making sure that your collateral are being properly managed. And because of what we are implementing, in terms of managing that more healthily, hey, you're not ready, otherwise you keep your house in order. So that is actually something that can push and force some of the short sellers in AMC stock to start covering their short positions. Now, there is another event, which is directly correlated to that, and it is the FICC, the Fixed Income Clearing Corporation. Also, come September 1st, so effective September 1st, the FICC will no longer accept as collateral in satisfaction of collateral allocation obligations to FICC on repo transactions. Either U.S. Treasury securities, eligible securities other than U.S. Treasuries, and any trust receipt issued by a government securities enterprise. Pretty much, these guys are saying, hey, come September 1st, we are not going to accept what we used to in terms of repo transactions. We also talk about the reverse repo from the Fed going to reaching new levels, new high levels above $1 trillion pretty much every week since the last 3 to 4 weeks. Even 6 to 8 weeks. That means there is something brewing on the back end about those repurchase agreements, okay? And now that the DTCC is kind of working into this and the FICC no longer accepting this, guys, this might be a joint catalyst forcing the short sellers to actually cover, because a lot of these guys, investment firms, brokers, banks use those systems in order to get collateral. But if everything is changing from that point forward and they are not in order, not that I'm saying that, these guys, this is an executive director, is saying that, hey, we know that you guys are not ready, okay? So these are the two first major events. And then comes NSCC 005. I've talked about this multiple times, and it's going to also be effective comes date September 3rd of this year. So on the morning of the effective date, members with a fund deposit below $250,000 will incur a deficit that will require funding by 10 a.m. Eastern. So they also know that by implementing an increase in the national securities, from the NSCC on the minimum required fund deposit is going to also have another major catalyst potentially impacting AMC. Why? Because usually it used to be 10,000. Now, you may think, well, from 10,000 to 250,000 is not that much. Well, it's 25 times. And all of these big banks, all of these big players, they not only have one account, but they have many multiple accounts depending on which type of security and depending on which types of counterparty they are also involved in business with. Pretty much, they may have an account for just equities, and then another for SFTs, and then another for this, and another for that. So think about maybe JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, maybe have 250 accounts. Now, 250 accounts for I don't know how much balance it might be. If you have to increase that by 25 times by September 3rd, it starts to get a lot of money, to be a lot of money. The figures are getting high pretty quick. So another potential catalyst that may force all of these hedge funds that are hugely overextended when it comes to margin and collateral to also be forced to short. And then finally, we do have the MSCI equity indexes that will get AMC added on their funds. What does that mean in short? I already made a video on this, guys. If you haven't watched, please go ahead and do it. But pretty much in simple language, it means this is a benchmark that a lot of institutional players and investors are using to prove to the clients that they are making a good job and making them a lot of money compared to just buying an index fund following the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones or the Nasdaq, pretty much the market. So when these benchmarks are adding a stock to their fund, to the portfolio, pretty much they're saying to all of the guys in the world, because this is an world index fund, pretty much they're saying, hey, if you want to make sure that you make a lot of money to the clients who are giving you money to manage and to invest for, you need to buy these stocks because we sold these and they're not performing, and we are adding these because they've been really being, good performers, and AMC is definitely up more than almost 2,000% since the beginning of this year only. So definitely this will be a good candidate. So on August 31st, AMC will be added to the MSCI Global World Equity Index. That means, the rumor on the street is we might have 25 million shares being bought. So this is a big number that will add to the buying pressure, all right? And then finally, we do have AMC closing last Friday. That was the third Friday in a row that AMC closed on the green. What does that mean? Well, not much, but it certainly, according to my opinion, confirmed the uptrend we've been on since the last month. So if you look at the chart, pretty much since August 4th, when we hit that below $30 a share, we've been pretty much going back up, all the way to that 48 intraday that we've seen a couple of days ago. And finally to end where we are today, around 41. So just to say, hey, we are looking at pretty good things, pretty good catalysts coming September. Now the thing is, with this stock, with everything that is happening on draw pools and manipulation and all the shenanigans, nothing is logical. Even though things even though things for another regular stock look like they will impact this going upwards, you just never know. So I'm hoping for the best, and the best means either we break out and we get closer to the new all-time high, or potentially, even breaking that out and getting to a new all-time high, hopefully triple digits, so we can have that domino effect on those little players on the short side get kicked out, or we just straight sideline. So that's the best scenario for me. But I also preparing myself for the worst, and the worst will be either we trade sideline, for the rest of the month, or we dip. Nothing new here, you already know, but I have to keep it real with you guys, so just be prepared. That's it.